Hey there, welcome to the Gyro Step, a Milwaukee Bucks podcast, proudly a part of the Blue Wire Podcast Network and the Gyro Step Podcast Network. I am here as always with my sad co-host, Rohan Katti. And Rohan, I'll tell you why you're sad.
I know why I'm sad.
Why are you sad?
Because not everyone who's listening to this is subscribed on their podcast platform of choice. They're not all subscribed to the Substack, the YouTube channel. They're not following Gyro Step Podcast on Twitter, GSPN Hub on Twitter, Winning Six Pod on Twitter.
It's true. We don't have 10 billion followers and subscribers, so that's true.
They're not leaving 5-star ratings on Apple and Spotify.
Yep.
Not all of them. We know a lot of you are, but we also know a lot of you are not. So if you want to make me happier, do all the things I just said. But why else am I sad, Ty?
You're sad because the hometown Green Bay Packers lost over the weekend, devastatingly, in the NFC divisional round. And we're not here to hopefully make people relive that for too long, but we are here to say earnestly, without judgment we're not talking down on anyone. Welcome to the Bucks season, because we understand, truthfully, a lot of people don't get into the Bucks until people say Christmas is the unofficial start of the NBA season. And then that coupled with the Packers, getting the 1 seed, Rodgers probably getting a second MVP. That is the end of Aaron Rodgers talk on this podcast.
So he already has 2.
Yeah, I said getting it. Did I say a second or another one?
Yeah, it says second.
Oh, another one. He's probably going to win. But it was a very exciting time. And there just wasn't that much time to watch the Bucks. And we get that. We actually really do. Although we are obsessed with the Bucks, we understand not everyone is. So we are sad about the Packers. We were hoping to not have to do this podcast until post whenever the Super Bowl is. But we are going to do it now and welcome you back into the fold because, hey, although they've had some games where the two-way guys play a lot and Langston Galloway, and we'll cover all that, we're going to recap you on what you've missed and welcome you into the fold. The Bucks are still very good. They're still going to have a good shot to win another championship. It's a fun time. Yeah, the Giannis guy is still around. It's great. So welcome.
Welcome to Wisconsin's team.
Yeah.
I think that's a good way. I mean, again, the Packers, who knows what's going to happen. So this is Wisconsin's team. And you know why it's Wisconsin's team? They just came off a title win, Ty. I don't know if you know that. I don't know if you know that, but they're the reigning NBA champions. And in their first game of the season, they went up against presumptive title favorites in the Brooklyn Nets. And what happened, Tom?
They blew them out despite having like 6 players out for that game.
They did, but however, it was a sad game because it is the one game that Brook Lopez has played so far this season. And that's where a lot of this Bucks season really stems from. A lot of the stuff that we're going to get into in terms of scheme, in terms of personnel, what is everyone doing? It all stems from Brook Lopez. Brook Lopez is the anchor of a team that prides itself on defense. And he is the anchor of that defense. And without him, he only played the one game. They have had to change things up. They've had to adapt to new personnel, adapt to new schemes. It's just a lot of this, like I just said, stems from Brook Lopez's injury. He had back surgery a while ago, a meltdown ago from me talking about injuries and stuff, whatever. Just
I think more than one meltdown.
I've had many a meltdown, but I've been told it's good content, so I'm not going to change. But a lot of this stems from Brook Lopez. So Ty, what is your first impression, or not necessarily first impression, first takeaway of Brook Lopez being out for the season so far?
Yeah, I think it's you mentioned schemes. I think if you're used to the Milwaukee Bucks playing a certain way on defense, namely drop coverage, things are going to look a little alien to you if you're picking up the team or haven't watched them much this year because they don't run it all that often anymore. I mean, the Bucks basically have become a switch first, play a lot of zone defense. They're trapping a lot of pick and rolls. So
I wouldn't even say they're a base switch team.
What are they?
I'd say they're a base hedge.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, hedge, switch. They're not anything but drop, basically, because as we yelled about a lot last year, Bobby Portis just not real good at dropping. So they're having him either switch or trap or hedge. So basically, their bigs are doing the opposite of what they used to do in pick and roll coverage. We're used to Brook Lopez backing up and walling off the rim. Now, most of the time, you're seeing Bobby Portis go the other direction up to try and cut off the ball handler that way. There's a lot more switching and moving on the back end to stop the big guy from just getting directly to the rim.
And I
Things
think
are
that's
a lot different.
I think that's the base of what's different really here is the Bucks are being more aggressive on the defensive end because they have to, because they don't have Brook Lopez backing them up. You're going to see if you're just running a pick and roll, let's just say top of the key pick and roll, and it's Drew and Bobby who are guarding. Drew is going to come to the guard. Bobby is going to come up to the guard as well. You're going to force a pass to the wing, in which time Bobby has a chance to go recover to the big who is going to the paint. You'll have someone from either corner, probably the weak side corner, tag the roller so that there's enough time for Bobby to get back. So basically, there's just a lot of more backside movement for this Bucks defense. You're seeing more and more of rotations, like guys getting into rotation, because previously, like we were talking about with the drop defense, there was just a lot of 2-on-2 pick and rolls. Everyone's going to stay on their guy unless you're helping one pass away and just absolutely infuriating us to no end.
PJ Tucker.
Yes, and PJ Tucker. But it's just primarily 2-on-2. You got your two pick and roll defenders trying to guard the two guys who are picking and rolling. Like, you're just not going to get into any back end rotation. Now you're seeing a lot of back end rotation. So this is a new scheme that the Bucks are really having to adapt to, and it's had its shortcoming. It really has. You're seeing a lot of guys get out of position more. You're seeing some guys get open more often than they probably should. You're seeing some miscommunications. And like you mentioned earlier, this team is not stagnant in terms of their scheme. They're mixing in a lot of different stuff. They'll switch a lot of the time. They'll go into a zone defense like every game at this point.
Yeah.
It's just, there's a lot of new pieces.
Yeah, and I think they're just smaller overall on both ends because of the Lopez injury. Now Bobby Portis is starting next to Giannis when the team is, you kind of just have to say quote unquote healthy. I mean, they at no point this season have had their 5 regular starters from the last regular season and first round of the playoffs. Dante did come back. Dante does exist. Actually looked quite good in his last game against the Kings. And that was the Bucks' last game too. This is a great time to get reintegrated to the team or just to reflect on the first part of the season if you've been watching and listening to us all year, because they're off until Wednesday. We record Monday night. This will probably drop Tuesday. There's a whole nother day off. It's really weird. Partially an effect of Milwaukee playing more games than anybody else. The Bucks are playing their 50th game on Wednesday. No other team, I think, is even at 49. Maybe one other team, but there's teams who have played like 45 games so far. As we record, I think more will probably get to 49 after Monday night's slate, but not very many, that's for sure. But they're smaller. They don't have a true backup center outside of 54th overall pick Sandro Mamukelashvili, who is on a 2-way contract and has logged not nearly as many, but lately has been playing with the Herd as much or more than he has with the Bucks. So they're tiny. I think that plays into needing the zone as well. You know, Giannis missed Saturday's game. Mamu played a decent amount of minutes. It's like Bobby or otherwise you're small. And they basically had
There was
lineups.
a lineup in the Kings game where Pat was the 5.
Yeah, it was like Pat, Jordan, Wara, and Chris Middleton were like the big guys, some combination of them. It's really Pat. I mean, power forward Pat out here. But
yeah, Jordan was technically the biggest guy out of those bunch, but Pat's the one playing down low.
Yeah, which really shows you how small they are in some of these nights and some of these lineups.
Yeah, and I think that's a lot of what's different about this team. Like you mentioned, it's just they're a lot smaller. You don't have guys like PJ Tucker around. You don't have guys like who else? Who was, I don't know.
Robin
Shemi
Lopez
Ojale.
2 years ago.
Shemi Ojale didn't work out.
He's still here, unfortunately.
I forget that sometimes.
I totally did. Big Rod played. Rodney Hood is on the team. He honestly, like, he's got like the most encouraging play you can see for a guy who scores like less than 4 points a game. It's been pretty solid recently, but not that solid.
No, not that solid. That's why it's like, we'll get into this later, but what to look at going forward. But maybe some roster shakeup is needed because the Bucks are really small. And that's going away from what won them the title last year, which was just smothering teams with their size. We coined the phrase weaponize your size in relation to this Bucks team last year. Because like there was Giannis, Bobby, Brook, PJ. I know PJ's not a big guy per se. He's like 6'5" or something, or 6'4", but like he's basically a power forward or a center. But they were just a big team who would just overpower you. Now it's Giannis and Bobby, and that's it.
Yeah, that is certainly the case. One guy I want to shout out who plays bigger than his size, like Pat, a new addition to the team is Wesley Matthews, who unfortunately seemed to, I think it's listed as a knee injury. It doesn't seem like he's going to be out for too long, but
he wasn't able to practice as of Monday.
So that's not great. But he's been terrific, at least until the injury, which was sustained Saturday night. Really, really good. Has defended pretty much everyone from KD to LeBron, Steph Curry. Yeah, not LeBron. They haven't played the Lakers yet. But Steph Curry. Really, really impressive stuff from Wes. He's looks way better on offense than he did the last time he was with the Bucks. So if you're looking for, individual positives, I think Wes was, hopefully still is, one of the brightest. While some new additions like Rodney Hood, Shemi Ojeleye have not really worked out at all. But old friend George Hill is back, and he's solid, looking stronger lately. He's, pretty good.
He tried to hammer on Vucevic.
I don't know what he was thinking. I don't know.
I mean, he got absolutely smothered at the rim, but he tried it. That was audacious.
We've seen a lot of these new guys. Well, not as much lately, but a lot earlier, because there's just been a lot of injuries and COVID protocol hitting the Bucks and every team, in fairness. But the Bucks for sure this season. They played 49 games. Only 21 of them have seen the Bucks just have all three of Giannis, Chris, and Drew. So forget all the other injuries, Lopez, Dante, the two biggest ones this year. Less than half of their games, they've had the big three. And I know it's not been at the same time either. It's been like here and there, which is maybe good, but also it's really limited the amount of time we've seen.
It always feels like they're down a man.
Yeah.
I think that's the problem with it. I mean, not right now. Fingers crossed they're all healthy right now.
Well, except Brook. That's the thing. You can't.
Well, yeah,
Brook
no, I'm talking Giannis, Chris, Drew. Chris,
those three. Yeah.
But just when they've been out, like you said, 21 games is the only amount of time they've had them out of these 49 games so far. It's just been like, okay, Giannis and Chris are here, no Drew. Okay, Drew and Chris are here, no Giannis. Giannis and Drew are here, no Chris. I think that's all the combinations. But it's just, it always feels like, oh, if they had this guy, like, yeah, it honestly might have been better if they were just all out at the same time.
Yeah.
Just get it, just like have the wound open and then seal it up. Am I making up a phrase on the spot?
I'll leave the medical stuff to you. That does not sound like a phrase though.
No, it doesn't. I try to think of one. It didn't work, but it just always felt like they were down a guy. Like, yeah, oh, they're missing Chris's production here, and it's hard to take stuff away from that because it's like this team at its peak. It's only going to reach its peak if Giannis, Chris, and Drew are on the court. Because at the end of the day, I mean, it's not all that matters because you need your auxiliary pieces to play really well to win a title. But they're only going to go as far as these three take them.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think that number is even deceptively big. Like the last 2 or 3 games, Drew Holiday has come off the bench. Or did he for the Kings game?
He started the Kings game. So it was his first start.
The 2 games before that, he was coming off the bench from his latest heel injury or ankle injury. He had one earlier this season too, and I think he started faster that one, but still, it took him a few games to kind of get back to looking like himself. And then he put up an awesome All-Star case, but then unfortunately got hurt again. So we'll see how the All-Star team actually goes. But, certainly less than 20 games where all 3 of those guys start, and even smaller than that where they're all 100%. I mean, Chris missed time with COVID. Giannis missed time with COVID. There can be, a couple of game recovery process from that. And I think one of these games too, was it Drew who left pretty early in a game where all 3 of them played? That was early in the season. I believe
so, yeah.
So, like what, 15 games maybe where they're all like actually fully healthy and in game shape and everything. Like it's been fraught to say the least.
Yeah, it's just been a slog of a regular season so far, which is why if you're tuning in right now, most of the bad stuff's out of the way. Realistically,
we hope.
Hopefully, fingers crossed, knock on wood, all that.
Yeah.
But it seems like all of the trials and tribulations that a team has to go through during the regular season, all was compacted into the first half of the regular season for the Milwaukee Bucks. Like, as of right now, like I said, Giannis, Chris, Drew, all healthy. The only two players in the injury report are the aforementioned Brook Lopez and, again, Wesley Matthews. And again, Wesley Matthews does not seem like it's going to be a hopefully not a super significant injury.
Yeah.
He's also old, so it's like you want to take your time with that.
So they listed it as a knee, right? It looked like an ankle.
Knee contusion.
To me. Yeah, I thought it was an ankle. Who knows what it actually was?
I think he banged knees.
Yeah, it seemed like the hope was he could kind of walk it off. Yeah, and I think he tried to walk it off. I don't think he asked to go out. There was some outrage from some, myself included, about he wasn't subbed out right away. He played a few possessions. Now, I think the Bud's quote after the game was he thought he would just be able to like run it off and be good, and he wasn't.
Yeah, but Bud also took responsibility for that and said he should have done that.
He should have called it time.
But, yeah, 100%. He definitely should have. He got a down stock because
he did, and he earned it. But it seems like hopefully it's not, certainly not like the worst case, right? Whenever a knee is involved, there's some very scary letters. I don't think we're there, which is good.
No. But again, it's just Wes and it's just Brook on the injury report right now. So going forward for this next month or however long it is, 30 something games, whatever. I don't know.
33 games.
33 games. Yes. 49. Okay. But yeah, it's just a lot of the bad stuff is behind them. Hopefully guys can stay healthy. They have a lot of time in between games now because they've played such a front-loaded schedule. They haven't had any games postponed, so they're going to have a lot of time in the second half of the season. It just seems like there's a little bit of smooth sailing ahead. And the silver lining for all of this time, is that in those 21 games where Chris, Drew, and Giannis are all healthy, they are 18-3.
Yeah. Pretty good.
18-3.
Pretty good winning percentage, that is.
Yeah. One game as of recording, first game, one game outside of first in the East. Wow. So given all we just said about what's been going wrong, how many guys have been in and out of the lineup, they are still only one game outside of first in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, they are. When Chris, Drew, and Giannis play, they're on a solid 70 win pace. Winning like 82-83% of their games when those three are all active. And again, active, like we're not cherry picking and throwing out games where like Drew doesn't look good or whatever else. That's just all of the games. And I think just to add on to how they've looked, they are still, and this is for the whole season, not just when those three play, top 10 in offensive, defensive, and net rating, which is typically a shorthand way to determine an elite team. They're 8th in offense, 7th in defense, 6th in net. So even with all of the injuries, all the guys in and out for the entire season on the whole, less than half of these games have all three of the big three. They've still been a top tier NBA team. And like you said, Rohan, literally one game out of first. Realistically, are they one night out of first? Probably not, because technically they're in fourth. The Heat, Nets, Bulls, all ahead of them. But I mean, if those three teams lost and the Bucks won on a given night right now, they would be in first place, or at least tied for it, which is pretty wild to think about how the season's gone. They have tiebreakers right now, currently, over the Nets and Bulls, although they have a lot of Bulls games left. They have
3 out of the 4 games with the Bulls left.
Are they playing 3 or 4 against Miami
4
this year? So
against Miami? I'm not sure. Honestly.
So they probably won't have the Heat tiebreaker, because I know they've lost to the Heat twice.
Yeah.
But tiebreakers, they beat the Nets twice already. They beat the Bulls once and have more games. But so they're we are at times this year have worried about like what's it going to look like if they finish 5th, because that's where they were at one point. First is still very much in play, and if Chris, Giannis, Drew can stay healthy and on the court together, the evidence so far indicates they'll be closer to 1st than 5th when all is said and done.
Yeah, they do not have. They only have one game remaining against the Heat, so they have lost that tiebreaker. But I think this is a good opportunity.
They won a Heat game, didn't they?
Did they?
Yeah, I think they could even it up.
Oh,
remember didn't they drub the Heat in one of those games? Or did they blow it?
I know they lost like the 3rd game of the season or the 2nd game of the season.
They got trounced the 3rd game of the season. I thought they actually beat the Miami Heat once. They did. They're 1-2 against Miami.
Okay, so they can even it up then. Okay.
Yeah, this was the game. Pat Connaughton put up 23 and outscored everyone on the Heat.
Oh,
okay, no, Max Strus had 25, but
whatever.
But Pat Connaughton beat Kyle Lowry and PJ Tucker like by himself, basically.
Okay, but I think this is a good opportunity to talk about what is standing in between the Bucks and another NBA title. So, like, who are their competitors this season? So we just mentioned a bunch of teams who are jockeying for positioning with them in the Brooklyn Nets, Miami Heat, and Chicago Bulls. Those three plus Milwaukee and the Cleveland Cavaliers make up the top 5 in the Eastern Conference right now. I think we're not trying to discount the Cavaliers or anything, but I think we're going to put them a tier below.
It's not time yet.
It's not. It's definitely not time yet. They're still really good. But they're a tier below for right now. So let's focus on the top 4 in terms of our tier in the East. That is Brooklyn, Chicago, Miami, and Milwaukee. And I think coming into the season, people just penciled in, us included, Milwaukee and Brooklyn as the top tier in the Eastern Conference. And those would be the only 2 teams that realistically have a shot of winning the Eastern Conference come playoff time. Well, that still might be the case. I think Miami and Chicago have put together a regular season so far that is made them enter the conversation for being able to win the East.
Maybe. Before we go deeper, I want to say go listen to the last Win in 6. They dedicated an entire episode to which teams are good or not. And I'm about halfway through, and it's very, very great stuff. But realistically, I still think the Bucks and Nets, less so the Nets kind of, are in their own tier. I still think it would be an upset if either the Bulls or Heat beat either the Bucks or Nets. And not an upset, but like a surprise.
Yeah, the Bucks and Nets would be favored in those series.
But I know, just personally to me too, like not just Vegas. I would be surprised.
But I'm saying like the general consensus is that they should have the upper hand.
Correct. Because I mean, it's in the play. It's not always this simple, and it's not the number one determinant, although it might be actually. Like, who's your best guy matters so much in the NBA playoffs. And Giannis and KD are just in a different class than the guys on those teams, or the rest of the conference, or the rest of the league outside of the Nuggets, who we'll see if they get healthy.
Sixers.
I guess they have not been a contender yet. Embiid's been great. Yeah,
Embiid's been insane. Yeah. But we're not going to talk about the Sixers because they don't have a chance.
They're 6th in the East. No, they're still haggling over Ben Simmons trade. That's still going on. They're going to wait till the offseason. Yeah, I don't think they will. But let's not do. Enough people have talked about this thing. So yeah, the Giannis and Durant are the 2 guys who have looked like those kind of guys on contenders. Steph has been awful for like a month and a half or more now. Booker and CP, I just put them on the same level as like, Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo and I guess now DeRozan and Levine. Great players. There's levels to this, though. And if the rest of the teams are somewhat similar, I'm going to give the advantage to the guy who has, like, the apex superstar. And that's why I still think, for as good as the Heat and Bulls have been, the Nets and Bucks, I would expect to win a series if, there's not any super extenuating circumstances.
Yeah, for sure. There's only... how many apex predators are in the league right now?
4.
There's Giannis... Well, that have proven that they can be the best player in the title team. Giannis,
3.
Durant, LeBron, Steph.
Yeah.
Those are the only 4 active players Kawhi, but he's hurt.
Yeah, we'll see if he can come back.
But those are the 4 guys, again, Kawhi's included, but those are the 4 guys that are in the league currently that have proven that they can be the best player on a championship winning team.
Yes.
You've got to pick one of those guys. It's hard to enter that conversation, which is what made Giannis's last season so special. But you can't discount those guys. Those guys have to be the favorites. And so it can often be that simple. Do you have one of those guys? Yes, you're going to be favored in the series.
Yeah. So that's why.
But
yeah,
we still can't discount the Heat and the Bulls.
I can discount the Bulls.
Okay.
The Bulls are not beating the Milwaukee Bucks in a playoff series.
Neither are the Heat.
But I think the Heat are so good at defending Giannis, they give themselves a shot, even if I don't think they could do it. I think that's the difference. I think they are that good at doing that. And we'll see if he's got more answers in the playoffs. In the regular season, he really has not. Like, they do a tremendous job of guarding him. The Bulls, no. Nikola Vucevic, honestly, is just giving me so much 2017 Al Horford. The Bucks did not care about that man at all. And it did not matter. It did not matter one bit. He's honestly, I think, worse offensively than Al. And I know that, like, this defense has been a big deal. He ain't guarding Giannis. And if Brook is healthy, I don't even know if he's going to be able to guard Brook. So I'm just out on them. Okay, you're going to DeMar DeRozan at the 4? Who's DeMar checking on the Bucks?
Chris Middleton.
Sounds good to me, man.
Poorly.
Sounds good to me. For all
the Bucks should, like we've discussed this. The Bucks and Nets should be favored against the Heat and the Bulls. Maybe not super significantly, but there should be they should be heavy favorites.
It should be significantly in this case.
Okay, fair.
That's my take on it. It's been a great season. Love what the Bulls are doing. We'll see how it holds up with all the injuries now. One caused by a Buck. We're not going to get into. It's a whole Grayson Allen thing. Don't worry about it. If you've not been around for it, just keep it pushing. We're hoping it blows over soon. But we'll see. We'll see if they can, stay near the top of the East. I hope so. It sucks when injuries derail a season. But I gotta say, I've been impressed with the Heat. They've been maybe as dinged up as the Bucks, maybe more, you could argue, and still up there, which is very impressive. But
yeah, they've been very dinged up as well. Jimmy Butler's missed a ton of time. Bam just came back after missing a bunch of time due to surgery.
Kyle Lowry's disappeared.
Kyle Lowry's been in and out. Yeah, I don't know what happened.
Personal reasons, just gone?
Is it personal reasons?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I hope everything's all right.
You know what? The way he's been shooting, he might be getting some deer antler spray on his elbows or something. It might be a secret trip to Germany going on there.
All jokes aside, hopefully all is right with Kyle Lowry. Yeah. Ty, we got new listeners here. We can't just be doing just doing bits. We got to be serious at times.
I don't know.
Okay, I couldn't say that with a straight face.
Yeah.
But no, that's the competition for the Bucks. So if we're just pegging the Bucks and the Nets as the title favorites out of the Eastern Conference, or just title favorites in general, I should say. There's still the looming Kyrie Irving factor for the Nets. He is not allowed to play any home games for the Brooklyn Nets
or away in Toronto.
Yeah, or in Toronto. Away games against the Knicks as well, because he is not vaccinated. So, yeah. He's been doing really well on the road. Hey,
but nobody wants to see that guy in Indiana.
He can't play at home. He cannot play at home. So I think that's a big factor in the sense, like, if the Nets maintain like a higher seed than the Milwaukee Bucks, if the Bucks and Nets play in a playoff series, a game 7 will not feature Kyrie Irving.
Also, the Raptors are looming in the play-in hunt. They're 9th right now. So Nets Raptors first round is still the optimal result to cheer for, because Kyrie just sits out for probably not a couple weeks.
Or Knicks.
I'm trying to be somewhat realistic here. The Knicks are having a season from hell. If you tuned out after the last playoffs and you wondered, Julius Randle, not a great playoffs, what does this mean for him going forward? Turns out it meant a lot.
Bad things.
It meant a lot. Like, they just basically have Greg Monroe now. Time is a flat. It's like this is the other universe where he signs there in 2015. That's what they ended up with.
Oh my goodness, that's poor Julius, man.
Show me the lie, man.
No, you're not. That's the worst part.
Yeah.
But Nets Raptors first round would be all-time great content.
Yeah,
all-time great content.
But
I think it really does make the Nets vulnerable, because we've seen at times James Harden is not the James Harden of the Houston Rockets. Well, maybe of the first month of the season where he was on the Houston Rockets before getting traded. Maybe that version of James Harden. But he has not been peak James Harden. He is not a one-man wrecking crew anymore. He is a somewhat limited version of himself. There's a lot of speculation as to why. Is he still dealing with a nagging hamstring injury from the postseason last year? Is he just out of shape? Is he just trying to coast through the regular season. There's just a lot. He's bringing it like more as of late, but it's still not the fear in your heart James Harden that we grew to hate years ago.
We still do, by the way.
Oh yeah, 100%. Still, all the homies hate James Harden.
Yeah.
But so that's another factor that makes them vulnerable. The one thing is, like we mentioned earlier, they do have that apex predator in Kevin Durant, who has just been outstanding. He might be, he's definitely top 5 MVP right now.
Yeah.
It's just been, it's been a absolute tear of a season before he got hurt. He's currently dealing with an MCL strain that'll keep him out 4 to 6 weeks. So, which is around, 3 to 5 weeks now? It's been around a week, right?
Yeah.
So we'll see with that going forward. The Nets are obviously going to be very cautious with just any injury regarding Kevin Durant, but anything that could potentially be serious. So again, they're vulnerable. Ty, here's the big question. Who's the favorite out of the Bucks and Nets?
I think it should be the Bucks. I mean, I think the Bucks have trounced them when they played, and I think it's for a reason. The Nets have no size that can hang with the Bucks. Zero. Like Paul Millsap, who people, oh my God, no, Paul Millsap. They're trying to get rid of him. Like he's not good anymore. He's not fitting in there. Lamarcus
They never
Aldridge,
even gave him a shot.
Well, he played 24 games. He's
I know,
just
it was like
wasn't
it's just
good.
not great. Yeah, not great.
He can't make any shots. Lamarcus Aldridge has really helped them offensively in some games. He's not shooting threes well at all, or really even trying. Making a lot of his twos
Aldridge
right now. Huh?
It's Lamarcus Aldridge. What
yeah, I mean, you're gonna ask him to guard Giannis, and then it's like Nick Claxton is still just Nick Claxton, like a nice switchable defender who will not shoot and is not strong enough to guard Giannis. So the switching part doesn't really matter if he's gonna be on Giannis and just get pummeled. So I don't trust their bigs.
Oh wait, you didn't even mention Blake Griffin, who was an
yeah.
integral part of their postseason series against the Bucks. And it's like, oh man, this guy's given the best shot at Giannis in this postseason, which he did, by the way.
He was great. I wanted him.
And now he just can't play. He can't play anymore.
20.8% from three for Blake Griffin.
He's only been playing recently because he's been forced to play. Like the Nets have been forced to play him. He was out of the rotation in the beginning of the season. Just completely out because he's just not that guy anymore. We were going last season from like, oh my God, this guy can still dunk. What did he do to the Pistons? To this guy's on the Nets still?
Yeah.
Like, that's how far it's fallen off.
I actually forgot. So Joe Harris is shooting 46% of his threes. He will probably shoot 6.4% in the playoffs as per usual.
He's also hurt.
Yeah, he is hurt. Get well soon, Joe. DeAndre Bembry is shooting 43% from three on 0.7 attempts per game. Not really something he does. So then you have Kessler Edwards. Who is Kessler Edwards going to play in a series? Maybe. We'll see. He's shooting a strong clip. Patty Mills, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving. Nobody else shooting above 34% from three for the Brooklyn Nets. So they don't have that many two-way players. And I just think, like, what are they ever doing about Giannis? And you can say, what are the Bucks doing about KD? I like the Bucks' options a lot better. And, like, they made the Nets give up in both games.
Literally an option. Literally an option. They have one option, which is more than, they did.
With Harden and KD playing in both games, they gave up by like halftime. They were just like, yeah, no, okay, we lost.
It was good. Steve Nash put in the scrubs with 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. It was, I mean, the game, they had given up before that. I'll tell you what, watching KD play in those games, what did KD score in those games? Let me look it up. It felt like very little, and he didn't shoot well, but it's like he just didn't even shoot that much. He was just like, okay, I guess we're just going to get our asses kicked now. It's KD, so it's probably still a high. It is still high numbers. So 29 and 32. So he's averaging 30 and a half in those games. Actually, he did play better than I thought. Am I looking at the right year? Yeah. He played really well. That's actually even worse.
It's Kevin Durant.
And here's the real fun numbers. He's shooting 52%, scoring 30 and a half points per game in those two games. They lost he's playing a ton, Jesus. His 67 combined minutes in those two games, they lost them by 39 points. Minus 19 in one game, minus 20 in the other game. That's actually even worse. Like, he played excellently both times, and they just got crushed in his minutes. This is a problem if you're Brooklyn.
It is. It really is a
Sandro
problem.
Mamukelashvili played in both of these games.
He did.
Like, what?
Jordan Nwora was doing work against him. I mean, Jordan Nwora does work against a lot of teams. But
Mamu played 15 minutes in one game, and he played only 7 minutes in the early game, in the first game of the season. Yeah, the Bucks beat them by 23, and they beat them by only 12 the second time. The garbage time, Brooklyn got a 6-point advantage in the fourth quarter. But yeah, so I think Bucks. I don't think the Nets really have answers.
I agree with you. I'm trying to have a discussion.
No, I know. I know. I'm just animated. I'm fired up. Yeah.
No, the Bucks should be favored in general to win the title this year, and and included in that is they should be favored to beat the Brooklyn Nets. And
well, I think that's the only controversial.
Yeah, I was gonna say those two feed into each other though.
Yeah.
Like if you're favored against the Nets, you're favored to win the title.
Could you see a scenario where the West wins the title this year?
No. Unless there's injuries.
Yeah. But let's put that aside. That's not fun.
No, hopefully not. Knock on wood.
Yeah.
But I don't see it a way that the West wins the title. The two best teams in the West are the Suns and the Warriors, in my opinion. You could throw Utah in there, but I don't care about Utah.
Could you throw Memphis in there?
Not yet.
Maybe.
Same with the Cavs.
Maybe.
They're not
I'm
ready.
more
I don't know if
Memphis than the Cavs.
I don't know if you got to that part about to the win in 6 part yet, but
I don't think so. I'll just say this: Memphis may have triple the rotational pieces you could play in a playoff series than the Cavs, and that's I think the real difference between them. I also think Ja is better than anyone on the Cavs, but Memphis is deep.
Memphis is really deep. I have the same concerns. Like they're just a young team.
Yeah.
Like they're a primarily young team. I don't know if you got to that part of the Win in 6 podcast.
No,
yet.
I haven't yet.
Okay, but I won't spoil it then. Make sure you guys listen to that, by the way. It's evergreen content. Yeah, it's just the top 2 teams in the West, in my opinion. The 2 teams that have a shot at winning it, like the best shots at winning it, are the Suns and the Warriors. We saw what happened against the Suns last year. So I think I would still favor the Bucks over the Suns.
Yep.
And over the Warriors, again, it's the same issue. Both of these teams are small, more so the Warriors than the Suns.
Yeah, definitely.
Way more so.
Yeah.
But the Warriors just who's guarding Katti or Giannis?
It's
Otto
all Draymond.
Porter Jr.?
It's all Draymond, who's like trying to recover from a disc injury now.
Yeah, that's a scary get well soon. We said get well soon too many times in this.
I know, it's sad. That's the league right now. It's crazy.
Yeah, hopefully just ban injuries, Adam. Come on.
Are the Suns the only team that don't have like a top 3 guy dealing with a serious injury right now?
I mean, Ayton's been in and out too.
Yeah, but I think it's a different level.
That's true.
I mean, the Warriors just got
Saric.
Top 3 guy.
Oh, top three.
Top 3 guy. Not Dario, the homie. But the Warriors just got Clay back, and he's still obviously getting his feet. Draymond now is out. Steph, I think, has some sort of a hand thing. The Bucks, I guess, top 4. The Bucks haven't.
I think he has
Lopez.
A shooting thing.
Yeah, that too. The Bucks haven't had Brook Lopez. The Heat have not.
I thought we're talking top 3.
Top 4. I said top 4. We can amend a top 4. We can still leave out Dario Saric. It turns out. I know Jay Crowder missed some time too. Okay, again. Okay, it's tough. Let's be real.
Their top 4 is Mikal Bridges. Come on.
I know, that's what I mean. The Nets only have Kyrie for half the game, so I don't know if
they have a 2.5.
Yeah, they have a big 2.5. But now KD is out, and Harden has just kind of looked like crap for a lot of the year.
They have a 1.5.
Yeah. The Bucks obviously have not had Lopez, and really, again, they've only had their big 3 for less than half the game. So every contender except for Utah, and now Utah doesn't have Gobert or Mitchell right now. If you want to call them, if you don't want to call them a contender, that's fine. They were pretty healthy until like 2 weeks ago, and the Suns, everyone has been like without guys for a lot of the season.
Yeah, for sure. But my point still stands. No one in the West is guarding Katti or Giannis.
Yeah.
And I think it's that simple. We literally saw that happen in the finals last year. The Suns could not contain Giannis. It led to them losing 4 straight games.
Yeah.
Giannis literally needed 2 games to be like, okay, I need to put my knee back in place.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe it's less than 6 if Giannis is not like Bambi
maybe
on the ice.
Maybe not. Actually, maybe we're not giving them enough credit. He did have 40 in game 2.
Yeah, but I don't have to. I know you. I know you don't.
The
need to be
the
told
Suns were good.
this.
The Suns were really good.
Well, and also, but on the other hand, it was like he still didn't look right by all of game 2.
Game 2. I was actually rewatching these highlights. He was just like calling for the ball. It's like no one else is doing anything.
Yeah,
I just need to score, and he was doing it. So so maybe it's a 5-game series instead of a 6-game series.
Yeah. Okay, enough stunting and flexing. Let's talk about what we have to look forward to before the playoffs for the rest of the season. I think first, I don't know how you're feeling about this. Brook Lopez is being intentionally pictured in Bucks stuff. He was in the last 2 all accesses. We know he's working, at least some sort of working out with the team. He's doing the free throw games. He's working up a sweat. Giannis said he's lifting. Now was it the
I love how
game?
all of the report, like all of the information we get is from Giannis.
Giannis and the Zapruder films that are in like the Bucks all access. And he was in like a tunnel fit pick. Was that the Kings game? No, that was the...
Yes, it was. It was the Kings
Bulls game. It was the Kings game?
No, it was the Kings game. It was Pride Night.
Okay. But they pictured him... I don't think he was on the bench, but they pictured him walking in. Like, they're showing him more. Does this mean anything? Maybe. Probably not, but maybe.
Maybe it's the social media team trying to get some good trying to get some good stuff out there after what they've been tweeting recently.
Yeah.
Find it. We're not going to talk about it.
Yeah. But we don't have any concrete reports because, of course. But the last we've really heard was Zach Lowe a while ago now, saying the Bucks are optimistic he could come back with some time to go in the regular season. At this point, is that before All-Star break? I lean no, but it's possible.
All-Star is in like 3 weeks, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 3.5 weeks. So I'm gonna go with no.
I think it's possible. I think it's possible we see him play before then.
I think no, especially with the way this team plays. Like they handle their situations, I should say, rather, because they're an actual team that plays games.
Yeah.
But they're going to be extra cautious. They're not going to put him through game reps just to have him take off for an extended period of time again. Like they're just going to wait. They're going to wait it out. That's my guess.
Does it work? What if it's like a dry run? You know, let him play a couple games and he gets to sat down, recover a little bit, see how everything's going.
Maybe, but it is back. What type of back surgery?
We don't know. We have no idea.
I mean, the Bucks know. They won't tell us. They won't tell anyone.
No. Brooke probably doesn't know.
Yeah, Brooke's like, am I having surgery? Mike Budenholzer and John Horst are like, just get under the knife.
Yeah, it's
like,
need to know.
What's happening in my back here, man? Listen, you're gonna be fine.
Brooke, check this out. Smell this rag real quick. And he just wakes up. There was a procedure. You don't have the clearance to know more.
What type of procedure was it? Man?
Just try to get better every day, Brooke. That's all we do here. We don't ask questions.
Remember that Target date you gave to Shams? That doesn't exist anymore.
So we don't know. We hope soon. It's good. I will say, you know, it's the bar is the floor. It's a good sign that we're seeing him do stuff.
Yes, absolutely. Because like we started off this podcast talking about, the Bucks had to change a lot of things because of Brook Lopez's injury. So they're going to give a lot of stuff back when Brook comes back.
Additionally, it's like they get more scheme options, but they also get a top 4 player on their team when healthy back. And that makes a big difference in itself.
Yeah, this guy, when Giannis went down in the Eastern Conference Finals, led all scorers. He dropped 33 points in Game 5 of the Conference Finals. Like this guy, you think, oh man, Chris is he's gonna be the guy. No, Drew's gonna be the guy. No, it was Brook Lopez. It was Brook Lopez. I miss him so much, man. I miss him so much.
I'm just
you don't know how much you miss him until he's gone. I just want him.
Exactly. You don't know what you've lost until you've actually lost it. Hopefully we haven't lost it for good. Hopefully Brook comes back to us soon. Yeah, I'm just smiling, shaking my head, thinking about Brook Lopez, which is a pretty default state of being for us. But okay, we don't know about Brook. Hopefully soon. I mean, we have almost no signs. They seem to be vaguely positive. The only other thing, besides just, again, you know, strong play, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday, at least one of those guys will be all-stars, hopefully 2 of those guys. But otherwise, you know, we're getting towards silly season, roster changes. You know, we've seen stuff around the margins. The Wes Matthews move, which is going to end up being big. Boogie Cousins, DeMarcus Cousins, was signed really good and then cut. Now he's with the Nuggets finally.
He might be back. Who knows?
We did a whole podcast on the Boogie thing. If you us and Jordan Tresky of Winning Six yelling about that. So if you really want that story, check that. Just go listen to every pod from the season if you need to catch up. That'll be a quick 35-hour way to.
That's like what the Ringer does. What the Ringer does. It's like you could read all of the or watch all of Game of Thrones, or you could just do binge mode like we're doing right now.
Yeah, we are the binge mode. We've done binge the Bucks. We're the binge mode of the Bucks.
We've had a stretch where we didn't mention it.
I know. Roster moves. What are you thinking? Prime the people. Are you expecting much more? They have an open roster spot right now.
They do have an open roster spot right now. The thing is, if you're going to make an upgrade to this team, it would have to be a trade, realistically. Because the one position of need that they have right now is at the 4 position. It's like a tweener forward position. Basically, a guy who can play the 4, play backup 4, or even play the 3, whatever. When Giannis is playing, when Brook/Bobby is playing, hopefully Brook and Bobby to some respect, but he'll be coming off the bench. But someone who could be the 4 in Giannis at the 5 lineups. Some guy like that. The Bucks are missing that guy. Currently, it's Pat Connaughton, which is it's good. It's pretty good. It's been working pretty well. You want probably another creator. I was talking with our friend Sam Cooper of the Timeline Pod, great Phoenix Suns podcast on the Blue Wire Network, by the way, on Twitter, about how the ideal candidate for this position is Harrison Barnes. It's just not possible. Realistically.
You have to give up Brook Lopez, which is. If you expect him to come back, I think that's too tough.
Yeah, it is. But it's just like, I don't know. That's my dream, really, for what this trade season could be for the Bucks. Maybe the Kings buy him out. Who knows what the Kings do nowadays? You know?
He has another season, doesn't he?
I don't know. When has that stopped them in the past from doing dumb stuff?
Nothing has stopped them from doing dumb stuff in the past. Wes has done okay at this. I know you want someone taller with more offensive punch. I
want another creator.
I don't know if I think it's more about the defender. That's like
obviously the defender first, because that's what I prefaced that. But if you can get a creator defender, like
Thad Young or something like that.
Thad Young's an interesting. He also makes too much money. Same with
that would be a buyout. I mean, it doesn't sound like there's much trade rumors with him right now.
Yeah, Thaddeus Young makes $14 million. This season. And Harrison Barnes makes 20.2, I believe.
Yeah.
And he does have one more year left on his contract as well. But it's decreasing value though. It's 18 next year.
Oh, it's only $40 million for him to not play basketball for the Sacramento Kings anymore.
Again, the Kings will do anything, man.
I don't think they'll do that. Kenrich Williams is the guy I'd like them
Kenny
to target.
Hustle.
Kenny Hustle, just throw second-round picks at OKC. And I will add that I think a backup 5 until Lopez gets back is a need, but it's more of a short-term need where it hopefully.
Hey, Ty, have the Bucks had that guy before?
Yeah, they did have one for a little while who they were dominant when he played, and now he is a Denver Nugget. That's Boogie.
Jokic was on the Bucks?
What was I going to say? I don't know. But a backup 5 in the near term, but it's less important than I think that 4. But it depends. I mean, Dante's back now. Can you just play smaller? Maybe that's the play. I don't know.
What are you going to put Dante at the 4?
No, but like Pat and Wes and just have a bunch of like smaller wings who can switch and be disruptive. I mean, that's the plan right now. I don't think it's ideal.
Here's a fun name. Wenyon Gabriel.
Yeah, back with the herd after a couple of 10 days with the Nets and Clippers. Interesting. He's more of a 4 or 5, a little bit of 3 on the defensive end. The shot is a little questionable, but would love to get him as an option to get some of those minutes. He's looked good with the herd.
He has looked good with the herd. I'm just saying, like, if they can't make a trade for like Harrison Barnes or Thaddeus Young, or our buyout in Thad Young's case, potentially, who knows what the Spurs do. But could you get a guy on the margins like a Wenyon Gabriel who doesn't have a 10-day right now? Like you said, he's back with the herd. Just like any random guy, not random obviously, but can you find someone that can be productive for you? Because those are really the only options. They can either make a big trade or they can sign a guy on the margins. They literally have no other option.
Or a trade on the margins like Kenny Hustle.
I wouldn't even,
like salary wise, it's on the margins.
Yeah, because the Bucks don't really have any salary flexibility. Really,
No.
their only tradable contract is contracts, I should say, are Dante and Brook Lopez.
Yeah, like maybe Pat. It depends who they bring back. It would hurt like
Yeah,
hell.
I don't think they'd trade that.
I don't think so. I mean, if it's like if you want to go get Harrison Barnes or something, maybe, but probably not.
Fair.
It doesn't seem like it's going to be that exciting of a trade season, but this is Trader John Horse we're talking about, so you really never know.
Yeah, you really don't know. He likes to make these trades for fours, or he definitely will get a 4. I'm predicting that right now because he has every single season he's been the GM of the
He
Milwaukee
got
Bucks.
2 in the offseason, and both haven't worked, so he kind of has to.
Yeah, his first year was Mirotic, right?
Yeah.
And then it was Marvin Williams, then PJ Tucker, and we'll see now.
You're just going to disrespect Pau Gasol by not including him?
He's not a 4.
I know.
Bucks legend Pau Gasol, by the way.
I think he's going to retire as a Buck. I love to bring up Pau's Bucks tenure whenever possible.
Oh, absolutely. We got a thank you Bucks tweet when he retired, so that's all that matters.
Legacy.
Played one game, got hurt. But no, they're definitely going to sign a 4. There's definitely going to be some changes on this roster going forward. They still have an open spot like we talked about in the past or previously. We've done both. But yeah, that's really what to look for going forward. And maybe some schematic adjustments. If Brook comes back, see how they balance that. It's just a wait and see what happens. Get some wins. Meantime, get some wins. Yeah. Get some wins in the meantime.
Watch some
get that playoff positioning. Yeah. It's a very fun basketball team.
Yeah, and now you're coming in at now from here it's like a less of a marathon. Only 33 games between the Bucks and the postseason. This is and actually the schedule is getting more fun too. Funny enough, the Bucks blew a bunch of games again. That's been their thing lately. Lose to bad teams. They're kind of turning it around. They beat the Kings. And then play awesome against the Nets and the Warriors and the Grizzlies. So coming up, Wednesday it's Cavs, Knicks suck. Nuggets are fun. Wizards, Blazers, Clippers, Lakers, Blue. Suns, Blazers, Pacers. Sixers, Nets, Hornets, Heat, Bulls, Suns, Thunder. Hawks. Warriors. Jazz. Kings. Timberwolves.
Wolves.
They're chippy. 4 p.m.
Wizards. Bulls.
No, you skipped one. Bulls. Yeah, Grizzlies again. Sixers, Nets, Clippers, Mavs, Bulls.
The Clippers might have Kawhi at that point.
I don't think Kawhi even exists anymore. Celtics, Pistons.
Celtics
Cavs.
are bad. Celtics are bad.
Fun games.
Yeah. They're never fun games. The Celtics games are never fun.
No, I mean all the games. In the aggregate of what's left. It's mostly fun games.
Yes, I will give you that. In fact, I think, do we have anything else or can I sort of segue into something here?
I have one more thing.
Okay, say it.
I'm tabulating still.
Okay, I'll say my thing then.
Yeah, say your thing.
If you want to watch these fun games with us, we have partnered with Playback, which is a service that lets you watch in real time these games with us in a virtual room. Everyone's all synced up, so you can all watch the same feed together. Our next game is actually going to be Wednesday's game against the Cavs. The way you get the link and access to this is by getting into the Gyro Step Discord. And the way you do that is, like I mentioned up top, got to leave a 5-star rating on Apple or Spotify. Tweet it at us. You can see it on the screen right now, or it's at Ty Windisch or at Katti Jr. And you can just tweet us with your proof of your 5-star rating on Apple or Spotify or wherever you want, or that you're subscribed to our Substack, gspn.substack.com, and that'll get you into the Discord. And we will put the link to our playback room in there at game time. It's a ton of fun. We've been doing these for a few months, 2 months now. They've just been so much fun to do. They go so quick. We're just talking, analyzing the game as it happens, doing our usual riffs and stuff. But it's such a fun time. And our next game, like I mentioned, is against the Cleveland Cavaliers on Wednesday, January 26th. Ty, did you formulate your thought?
I think so. Excited about playback. Love doing those rooms. It's been a lot of fun. So please, if you're listening, it takes like 2 seconds to get into the Discord, and then you can watch with us live. It's so much fun. It's a great
Everyone's
atmosphere.
in sync and it's perfect. There's like a
really,
chat.
really
We bring people on stage during commercials to talk with us. Yeah, it's a great time.
I think they only have 5 back-to-backs left. I was counting. It took me a really long time to figure it out. So only 10 of the remaining 33 games are back-to-backs, and 2 of them are in like the next couple weeks, or by mid-Feb. They have one Feb 5 and 6, and another one 14 and 15. So only 3 back-to-backs remaining after February 15th, I believe, which is good. I mean, back-to-backs stink, and again, that's the nice part about the Bucks playing so many games by now is they have less than most other teams to go. And most of the time they have a pretty crappy team on at least one half. And sometimes 2 halves, like Celtics Pistons. And that's the very end of the season. So by that time, we're really looking ahead to matchups and making sure everyone's healthy and stuff anyway. So should be a fun sprint to the finish here over the next 2.5 months or whatever it is.
It is going to be a great time, and like we said, it's going to be a fun time with us here at the Gyro Step Podcast Network. I'm gonna wrap it up, Ty. Let's get
yeah. No, that's good.
Okay, but yeah, I zoned out for like 10 seconds there on accident. Like my brain just, I don't know what happened. But you can join us here at the Gyro Step Podcast Network. We're going to be covering all things Milwaukee Bucks. Gyro Step Podcast, Win in 6 podcast. It's all on one feed. Adam and Jordan tend to be the more what's the word?
Wise.
Yeah, that's a good word.
It's like sage. It's
sage.
more measured.
Sage. Yes.
Yeah.
We do more of like
their big
instant
picture.
Yeah, we do more instant stuff. They do more big picture stuff. It's a good dichotomy.
It's
we do
like
a bunch of
it's like when
content.
It's like when Jim and Michael were co-managers on The Office. They're big picture. We're day to day. We're Jim Halpert. They're Michael Scott.
Yes, for sure. I think that's the best compliment we can ever give.
Us. Oh.
Or us.
Let's not do a whole Office thing. We're in the outro. Let's power through before we get distracted here.
But yeah, thank you for listening to this episode. If you're new, make sure you subscribe on your podcast platform of choice. Make sure you leave that 5-star rating. Make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube Gyro Step Podcast Network on YouTube, to the Substack, gspn.substack.com. We do Bucks stock market posts after every single game, so you can get a quick recap and see how players are doing. Plus, we do other fun written stuff and video stuff on the YouTube. So make sure you subscribe to both of those, all free. So make sure, like, there's no harm. Just do it. It's good. It's content. We're giving you content.
It helps us.
Yeah, it does help us too. Please do. But yeah, take the content we're giving you. Hopefully you enjoy Pod Random, and we will talk to you next time.